Hello, Ryan here, and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all of the news from the week just past. Be sure to subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get on with it.
This week, Alpha 322 goes live. The AI team tell us more about many aspects of their work, plus the replication layer split test is making some major progress. So before we get to it, after I put out my roadmap video, Cloud Imperium dropped a new tech preview patch. Now this one was a little different to the rest, as it was actually open to everybody for the full weekend, rather than just Evocati for 4 hours. So basically any backer can jump in and test this build to help Cloud Imperium gather the data they need. And as they say, the purpose of this test is to mix regular and split instances, so some servers you're on might be running as they do now, whereas others have the separated replication layer. And it goes on to say that a possible replication layer expansion to further environments will be very soon, if all goes well of course. So this is pretty damn good news. It does show that things are moving very well, and that they are looking to expand this quickly. So fingers crossed, we are still on the cards for the separated replication layer this year, and I was told by a friend who has been doing a lot of tests on these servers, saying that on the servers with the replication layer split, the game runs really smooth, even when the server frame rate drops, and AI seem to work more consistently. One or two of them do act a bit strange, but the majority of them work fine, and he did note that the server at one point did drop to around 8 FPS, but recovered back to around 12 to 20 depending on what players were doing. Now, in regards to those images floating around of it saying server meshing enabled, true, this does not mean that server meshing is in, it is just them getting ready for when server meshing does come along, so don't read into that at all. But from what I am hearing, it certainly sounds like they want to push out this replication layer split to the live servers before the end of the year, which would be a massive win going into the new year, ready for server meshing itself, while giving us hopefully the most smooth experience that we've ever had. So things are looking very promising for the end of the year, and let us hope that all goes smoothly and they can get it out. So we have a Drake Cutter Rambler LTI game package to give away, courtesy of Cloud Imperium, so a big thank you to them for providing that. All you have to do to win is to be subscribed to my channel first and foremost, and comment on any video that I put out between now and Sunday next week, telling me what it is that you like to do the most in 322, and I will pick a random video and a random comment to be the winner, announcing it in the next video after that date. So best of luck, and again a big thank you to Cloud Imperium for the giveaway. I will also have a Origin X1 LTI game package to give away over on Twitch. That will be hopefully happening on Monday. I should be able to get back to streaming, so do head over to my Twitch channel. It is twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother if you want to stand a chance of winning that one. So this week's Star Citizen Live was with members of the AI teams answering our questions from the CitizenCon panel that we saw this year. Now the first question is, what minimum server FPS is required for the AI to function as intended? Now they say that the AI calculations are spread over an amount of frames, so the less frames there are will result in less calculations over time. Not all of the AI issues are server FPS related, sometimes they are just bugs, but when the server drops to under 5 frames a second, it can get pretty bad, with more than 10 frames being ideal. But the team are working to make the AI less reliant on server FPS performance, and also cope better when the frames drop. And now that the Squadron 42 AI work is in the persistent universe, it does allow them to stress test this stuff in a multiplayer environment and fix issues that pop up due to the big difference being single player multiplayer. Next question, has there been any progress on AI blades? Now they say the tech is already there, and they are using this for some capital ships and station turrets, like the AI modules being slaved to certain capital ship turrets. He does say that they will be wrapping up this system and working out how they will expose this to the player, so buying them and then attaching them to your, I suppose, your CPU. But it will involve a lot of teams, but the AI work for blades is essentially done. It just needs the player-facing side. Now this is really great to hear, and as he went on to say, with all of the traits and skills and those sorts of things that they have developed for the AI, they can really offer a variety of options which can then be used to change up the price brackets for various blades. But of course, just because the AI work is ready doesn't mean that it will be in-game anytime soon. This still requires work from teams like the Resource Network team working on all the components and how that system communicates, the props team, and many more. So likely not coming soon, as we know they haven't mentioned this at all, especially at CitizenCon, but I don't think we are going to be waiting too long before we see even a single simple blade that will allow us to slave a turret. They don't have to bring them all in one go, so fingers crossed we can start seeing this stuff roll out sometime in the new year, really. Now the next question is there any progress on creatures? So the team have done a lot of work for creatures. There is a lot of work done for Squadron 42 in terms of creatures that they are bringing forwards and expanding on for a whole range of creatures with lots of different attributes for the persistent universe, which they say they can't go into. But they did say it is definitely starting with the Kazi Grazers, which are the cows that we saw during the Star Engine demo. And this is an in-game creature that is being worked on at this time. Now, Jared did actually say that there are multiple creatures being worked on right now, both aggressive and not aggressive, and in relation to what he mentioned is coming in the first half of next year, creatures are things that he thinks the team would want us to discover on our own. So you won't see like a big feature on all of the creatures. He wants us to discover things for ourselves. Now, this was slightly cryptic and hard to know if he's referring to when creatures come along full stop, or a specific creature. So there is a potential that we could one day just be wandering around planetside or in a cave perhaps and suddenly get attacked by a creature, or maybe flying through the clouds of Crusader and then you just happen upon a flock or a pod of Stormwalls. Either way, very happy to hear that they do intend on just simply implementing the various creatures without telling us and allowing us to find them. I think that would be just the best way to do it. I mean, it would be nice to hear more about them, but maybe once they're released and you're walking through the forests of Microtech and then a Boreal Stalker comes chasing you down, I don't even know how I would react to that, but I like the sound of it. Now, the next question is, does the replication layer separation work affect AI? And yes, it does impact AI. AI is authoritative to the server, and this change will benefit the AI definitely. When server meshing comes along and they have multiple servers, they need to ensure that as the AI move from one shard to another, they are doing so seamlessly, keeping that consistency. And they have found with the current replication layer tests that the state of an NPC is currently not always replicated as it should be, so they are working to fix this and make sure that the process is done correctly. Next question, will AI communicate with each other, warning others of threats, for example? Now, they have made some strides recently working with the audio and dialogue teams to get more consistent usage of the wild lines, and this is for both Squadron and the Persistent Universe. And for radios, there are quite a few Squadron 42 radio requirements that are very scripted. For example, if an NPC discovers a body that you have not hidden, they will then radio their leader, and it will change up the experience. Now, they have discussed how to make this more systemic and generic, and for example, in Squadron, if you call out to your squad mate, being an AI, if they don't respond, you will know something is wrong. And he did say that they would love to see this in the Persistent Universe as well. Now, Jared did say that as things like the Reputation gets further developed, we should see NPCs interacting and informing others of your actions. And for example, they say if you manage to take down an NPC before they get a message off to another member, then you should get away with the murder, rather than it instantly giving you a rep hit. Now, this is very good to hear, and I'm happy that they will respect the point of line of sight or audio and such, where you can get away with something if you clean your tracks properly or don't get spotted doing something if no one is around. Also, more audio propagation work for AI will be coming along with the next few releases, and is part of this whole room system as well, so hearing sound accurately propagate through an environment. So some really cool stuff going on there, and it's nice to get a bit of clarity on where they want to go with it. Next question, will there be a situation in which the NPCs drop their guns and surrender if they are in a situation that they can't get out of? Now, this, they say, has already been worked on for Squadron. They need to do a little bit more polish on the states, but you will see civilians running and hiding, combatants that run out of ammunition will try and find more, and if they can't find any, they will also run and hide, but then go into a surrender pose and allow you to arrest them. Now, in the persistent universe right now, the AI have infinite ammo and will require some work before this can come in because they're not supposed to have infinite ammo, but they do intend to have it where the NPCs can drop their weapons and put their hands up, and if you don't restrain them, once you leave their line of sight, for example, they might pick that weapon up again and fight again. Or even if you do restrain them, an NPC friendly to them might come along and unrestrain them as well. So there's a lot of nuance to all of these AI systems, and it's a case of just rolling that out. Next question, does the planetary nav mesh not apply to existing locations, as it would have been great to have NPCs patrolling outside bunkers? And I 100% agree, that would be amazing. Now, they say it does apply to all locations, but there are some constraints right now that they are working to remove. They have also been working on navigation links, so AI being able to use ladders and airlocks and so much more, so that NPCs can move around freely. Next question, will we ever see NPCs riding trams? And they say yes, this is in the Squadron 42 build, they just need to get it set up for the PU, and this actually harks back to the navigation links. A link is allowing an NPC to know that it can board a train, to know that the door is open, and to know where its stop is and get off again, so it's all part of that work. Next question is, can NPCs use tech like radars and scanning? Now, in terms of radar, the AI does use the radar component just as the player uses them, and they want the same to apply when it's referring to FPS radars as well. They do want to get the AI pinging using the radar and reacting to being pinged, and as part of the balance they can adjust whether the AI do that or they don't. So maybe not all AI will do that or react to that, but the AI do use the exact same systems that the player does. Now, other things that were mentioned during this Q&A is right now they are working on adding a lot of fallback cases so the AI can make better informed reactions to various mishaps or bugs or scenarios that are not ideal. And in regards to NPCs reacting to players pointing weapons and tools at them, they do intend on broadening the nuance of their reactions to make sense to what is being pointed at them and the location they're in. So for example, they will be less fearful if someone points a med pen at them versus a gun, or if in Pyro seeing a weapon drawn but maybe lowered versus the same situation in New Babbage and how they would react to that. Now, to finish off the episode, Jared did mention that this was the last Star Citizen Live of the year, and they will be coming back around January 25th. So we've got a good long break to get in and get playing 322. But that was a really good episode, highlighting and touching upon some very important aspects of Star Citizen's development for AI, and the answers were definitely what I was looking for. So also this week, lawmakers returned answering the community's law questions. The roadmap was updated, of which I have covered here in a separate video that I will link below in the description. Alpha 3.22 released to the live servers, which so far seems to be a pretty great patch with a lot of fun to be had, but I have certainly not played it as much as I would like to. There was a post highlighting all that this patch has to hold, so be sure to check that out below to learn more. Inside Star Citizen this week was focused on the 3 new ships and vehicles coming with Alpha 3.22, so the Santokiai, the X1 variant, and the Cutter Scout, of which I will be covering in their own individual videos, so do keep your eyes peeled for those. Talking of which, there were many posts dedicated to these vehicles, all of which are linked in the description below should you want to learn more about them or pick one up. And finally, there was a post detailing how salvage and repair works, and I believe this was an updated post to just include the new additions of structural salvage. So if you are looking to dip your toes into salvaging or repairing in the verse, then I highly suggest checking that post out.
So that brings us to the end of the show. If you do enjoy my content, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Also, I am able to do this thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. If you appreciate what I do and would like to help make it even better from as little as $1 a month, all of the links are provided below.